This is Michael with the Vision Experience, and in this video we're going to go over how to connect all the cables to your components in your rack. In our previous video we showed you how to wire and bolt everything into your rack, so it'll be bolted looking something like this, and then the next step of course will be to connect all the cords and cables to it. So let's make our way to the back of the rack, and you'll see we've got most of the cables set up here now. What you have first on the top device here is your Blu-ray DVD player, and then right below that, and you can kind of see it from the front, this is the pre-wired plate that has all the connections that we're going to connect to the back of the components, and then you can access all these connections for connecting outside devices and things very quickly and very easily. Then we've got the preamp, followed by the 2-channel amp, and then followed by the 5-channel monoblock amp. And that's everything that you need to connect everything. So let's just go through this a step at a time, starting from the top. For the DVD player, you only have 3 cables that you're going to need to connect to it. You have your HDMI, which is coming out of HDMI out, and we're connecting that to HDMI 1 input on your preamp right below it. It's the blue cable here. Followed by 2 USB outputs. It's on the back of the Oppo, you'll see USB 1 and USB 2. Now we've plugged both of those cables to the back of our front plate here, and you can kind of see it's listed as Oppo USB 1, Oppo USB 2. Now, you're going to use these for 2 reasons. One is you're going to use the Wi-Fi dongle. This wireless adapter allows your DVD player to talk to the internet for all those internet features like Netflix and other things, as well as for firmware updates. And then you've got another USB input for any of your outside devices that you would just want to plug in, or plug in a flash drive. Something like a flash drive, you can just plug it in, and then you're able then to access that content right into your system. Okay, so that's it for the Blu-ray. That's all there is to it. Now moving down to the preamp, we're going to start with the analog audio. We've got analog audio 1, analog audio 2, and analog audio 3 pre-wired. So you're going to connect from the back of the preamp to the front plate. And so we've marked it analog 1, analog 2, analog 3. So when you plug those cables right into the back of this, now you can access those 3 inputs for any outside devices, and then you just switch the input on the preamp and you're all set to go. Then continuing over here now, we have, it's a USB connection, and you can see a little Bluetooth symbol right next to it. That is going to connect to the front plate, for the same reason that we use this wireless dongle on the DVD player. The preamp also has a Wi-Fi wireless dongle that allows you to access many internet features, and so you simply will connect that right there on the back of that plate, and then you'll plug in the Wi-Fi dongle, and now your preamp is also can connect to the internet for all of the features and firmware updates and other things like that. Below that, you also see a separate USB input. That's only for special updates that the manufacturer may offer from time to time, to do some special firmware updates for the device. So you'll get that information via email, and so whenever that happens, that's what that is for. Other than that, you don't use it for anything else. Now we've got our HDMI inputs, and as we mentioned, this blue cable right here is HDMI number 1. And then we have HDMI 2, 3, and 4. And we've gone ahead and pre-wired those to the jack plate in front. So you can see HDMI 2, 3, and 4. So now you have everything available to you in front of your system if you want to connect outside devices. It's that quick and easy. And also, if you had another device that you didn't want to have the cables in the front, let's say you put a cable box or something here on the top shelf, well then you can just plug them right here. You could even unplug one of these that you're not using, and you can just plug it directly right in that way. So you have that option, which is great. It just has all the flexibility. Now moving down here, we've got our trigger connections. What this allows you to do is when you turn on one device, the trigger sends a signal that will allow you to turn on other devices at the same time. So this allows you through the remote and other features, you can just push one button and all the devices in the system can turn on. Now, on back of the preamp, you've got trigger 1 and trigger 2. And so all the cables are marked, so they all are labeled and marked to make it real simple. So you just plug in the trigger 1 cable right here, and that goes to the UPA amp, which is the small 2-channel amp, right here to the trigger input, and you're all set. Then you've got trigger 2. And so I take the trigger 2 here, and that goes to the XPA amp. And right here is the input for the XPA amp. And that's all there is to it. You plug in those 2 cables, and then we'll show you in another video about powering on the system, how that makes everything integrated and that much easier and simpler to power up. Finally, now we have connecting your speakers. Now, on the bottom left back here, you can see all these jacks here in this section here are your 7.1 speaker outputs. These are going to connect to the inputs of your 2 amps here. So if you look at it right now, starting on the far left, that is the front left output. So on the amps here, we've already marked where the inputs are going to go. On the top amp here, we're going to do surround back left, surround back right, which are the 2 speakers that are in the back of the room. Then you've got surround left and surround right, which are the ones that are immediately on the right and left of you. Then you have the center, which is a speaker in the middle below the screen, and then the front left and front right. Also, we've custom made these cables here in our workshop, so every cable is labeled, individually cut to the perfect length, and these are made of the highest possible quality components, so you just get that much more attention to detail. So now if we go back to this where it says front left, you simply take your front left speaker input right here. There's your connection. You're just going to plug it right into it. Okay, and then right next to that, you've got surround left. So the surround left is right here, and it plugs right into it. And now you've got surround back left. And once again, you can see the cable is custom cut to the perfect length. It's all labeled, so you just need to find the cables, identify them, and plug them into the amp. Right here, each amp has an RCA input, so you're just going to plug one end into your amp, the other end into the output, and you're all set with that. Now we have the center, so we'll take the center, and it plugs in right here, and followed now by the right. Now one thing we did was all of the left speaker connections have a white color marking, and all the right speakers have a red color marking, just to maybe make it a little bit cleaner and clearer to see. Now the next one is the subwoofer. Now for the subwoofer, we're going to take that signal and split it into 2, and you're going to send that to the 2 subwoofers. So you've got the Y cable here that splits it. So we're simply going to just plug that right in there, and then you'll connect this to one subwoofer, the other goes to your other subwoofer. Now we've got the surround back right, and that's right here on this amp, and you can once again custom cut cable, just goes right in. And the final couple cables you got are surround right and then front right, and those are your final 2 cables. And that's it. All of your cables are connected. Now for your speaker connections, underneath each one of the inputs where we have labeled, that's where you'll connect those speakers. And you can see you've got the terminals there. So once you connect the corresponding speakers, that's it. Your system is 100% hooked up, and you're that much closer to firing up your system.